Hi guys, it's Sandy. How are you from Canada Lightworkers? Nice to see you again. It is Tuesday night, and I thought it might be kind of fun to start something Tuesday with tea and cards. That's the idea anyway. So I was looking to see what would be a topic that we could look into. Use the cards, the Echoes of the Unsolved deck. That's my favorite deck right now. I think for tonight, anyway, we're going to have a look at the energy around Anthony Fauci. As we know, he's back in the news, diaries being released, RFK Jr. making some noise about him again, as are others. If you haven't seen this yet, The Real Anthony Fauci, if you haven't read it, I think you might find it very interesting. No matter what your opinion of him is, this book is pretty undeniable for what it offers in terms of information. But I also wanted to mention before we get started, in case you haven't had a chance to look, you can also find me on reruns on YouTube, behind the scenes with the rescue mediums, which I did a few years back. I was so fortunate to work with the cast of the show Rescue Mediums, as well as the producer and the director of research. We did that for a couple of years, and the premise was that we would review previous episodes of the Rescue Mediums. And if you're unfamiliar, Rescue Mediums was a show that ran on network television and is still on veryparanormal.com and on YouTube, where two mediums from England would come to Canada and rescue spirits that were haunting houses, haunting businesses, and help make it better for the people that live there. What an experience. Check out veryparanormal.com, Rescue Mediums, Jackie and Allison, and of course, Michael Lamport and Edna Dargy rounded out the numbers. So I got to be like a fifth Beatle there for a while, and it was fascinating to me. But if that kind of stuff, spirit investigation, that kind of thing interests you, you can see what I used to look like over there, as well as this channel or my website, CanadaLightworkers.com. Okay, let's have a little look and see what the energy is around Anthony Fauci. What's going to happen tomorrow? Is it a diversion tactic? We don't know. So just shuffling some cards. I'm going to pull just a few and see what the energy is around this whole thing. First one, emergency call. This is going to be a big deal. This is going to be a big deal. A lot will be revealed about him, about the circumstances, about his role in lots of things, maybe not just COVID. If we go further back, there's lots of interesting information about him. Interrogation. Emergency call and interrogation. Access denied. I hope you can see this clearly. Access denied. Emergency call, interrogation, access denied. We might not get all the information that we're told that we're going to get. Maybe it'll be revealed that there's more to come and we just haven't got it yet. Interesting. That's interesting. Access denied. Pinned location. Okay. They've got a map out on this card. Pinned location. The location from which he carried out his agenda, their agenda. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. So right now we have emergency call, interrogation, access denied, pinned location, GPS tracker. It is going to be location specific. Yeah, pinned location, GPS tracker. It's going to be specific to an area or specific to a certain time frame. I heard shows that were reading his diary. Did you? Wow. Okay. I haven't, I've been working all day. I haven't seen that. Thanks for letting me know. That's interesting as well. So what's the energy then around reading the diary? Let's see. Intercepted call. I wonder, I really do wonder, this makes me wonder if we're going to hear calls or if we're going to be privy to conversations that took place while he was writing his diary, while the last 6 years were going on, maybe years even before that. Intercepted call. I love these cards. I just do. Although I gotta say, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 calls in, or 6 cards in, and it feels eerie. It feels really, really goosebumpy, eerie. Anonymous. Yeah. Can everyone come forward? Probably not, but we will see. I'm going to go back. This deck is so big. I break it up into 2 parts. Okay. What do you think they're going to find? What do you think the purpose of this really is? Is it a distraction from something else? Or is it really what we're told it is? You kind of have to question at this point, because not everything obviously is what it seems. Oh, no way. Diversion tactic. I just said that. The cards are listening. Wow. Okay. Maybe it is a diversion tactic. Holy moly. That's the tea part of the Tuesday tea and cards. It is tea, in case you're wondering. Okay, what else? What else? What else? Secret code, cipher code. Maybe we can't distinguish everything that's going to come through. Maybe it'll have to be deciphered for us. That's what that looks like to me. Right after diversion tactic, though. So diversion tactic and then cipher code. What else? Maybe it's code for something else. Let's have a peek at the comments. Hi, Sandy, I made it. That's awesome, Kelly. Thank you for making it. He has amenities so that they find him answering and maybe they get him to lie. Yeah, he might. Yeah, he might. He might. Isn't that an interesting take on it? What would happen if that's what he did? What would happen to the research? What would happen to all the sort of publicity and energy around that if that's the outcome? That's a good point. Let's have a little look. In plain sight. Nowhere is there better to divert someone's attention away from something than in plain sight. Interesting, but I wonder, I have to wonder, not just the American people, I mean, obviously we're paying attention too, but as are people all around the world and people all around the world seeing this. In plain sight, the best place to hide something. So will the diaries divulge what he did on the pages in plain sight of everybody else? A technicality. Yeah. Was it Al Capone on taxes? Is that what they got him for? Something other than what he did, sort of an idea. Maybe, maybe. Okay. Will it be a technicality? Will it be a technicality? Ambush point. If they have him on a technicality, maybe it's something that he doesn't even see coming. But I gotta think, we're sitting here doing this, our little group right now, which, will turn into a big group. But I also wonder every single time, does he then use astrologers, mediums to sort of plan out when to release information, when to not release information, when to carry out agendas, when to carry out a plan? I don't know. I always wonder that. It makes me feel like that's a thing, and I always want to go back to King Arthur and the Knights of the Round. Just go back in history. Astrologers were always there, Merlin type of people that could see. They called them seers back in the day. So we're sitting here wondering what's going on. I got to think that there's people working this kind of energy research, but for the not so in the light, more in the dark. What do you think about that? I think that's a thing. I think that's an everyday thing that goes on all over the place. Okay. Burned bridge. Burned bridge. After ambush point. Ambush point, burned bridge. Figuratively or literally? Let's look. Figuratively or literally? Plea bargain. Wow. Ugh, I just got the chills. Okay, plea bargain. Wow. So maybe they will get him on a technicality and he will then voice his opinion with his legal team, of which there must be many. There just must be, to see what will happen to him next. It certainly wouldn't be as if someone else had committed these crimes. Sometimes people obviously higher up are very well protected, and we know that. Let's see. Active pursuit. So this has been going on for a while. This isn't just like a random thing. I mean, it's taken long enough is sort of how it feels, but active pursuit. Maybe they had to wait until something happened, a world event happened, or the timing was right to now go after him. Just a couple more cards. I'm looking at the comments. Okay. Full moon. That's an excellent point. Yeah. Things come to light, don't they? At the full moon. Ugh. Again, yeah, that just gave me chills too. Okay, a couple more cards. Let's just see. Stage scene. Oh my goodness. We've seen enough of these. Crisis actors, that kind of thing. Stage scene, huh? Okay. Couple more. This could go on. I want to look at the whole deck. Okay. These cards just jumped out. Let's have a look. Oh, wow. Liability. Okay. Armed suspect. Interesting. Armed with what? I mean, there's lots of things that can be used as a weapon, and I think he has used lots of things as weapons. Private investigator. Unknown. Unknown. Private investigator unknown. Armed suspect unknown. This reminds me of this last three cards reminds me of when we hear of some terrible incident and then the shooter shoots themselves, or the shooter is shot by law enforcement, and they they turn out to be, if they're a crisis actor or a real person doing this crime, they always seem like relatively unknown. And then within weeks, people have tracked down where they came from, how they were trained, if they were MK Ultra, if they were mind controlled, if they were put up for this by someone else. And there's lots of incidents of that. So, armed suspect unknown. Yeah, let's have a look. He wanted to get shots in arms. Doesn't sound like a doctor, more like a hitman. Well, that's a good point too. Yeah, shot can be all kinds of things, can't it? That's a good point too. Hmm. Wow. Okay, Kelly, what do you think here? I have a gut feeling that he's not going to be able to handle the pressure of all of this. Really? Okay. So, Kelly, what do you think that the result of that would be? So if he can't handle the pressure, I mean, he's not a young man. These are not light things that he's um, been involved in. I mean, this is some of the biggest stuff in history, certainly in my lifetime, and probably others. Um, but Kelly, I'm curious, what do you think that would be if he couldn't handle it? Um, what would that look like? Okay, I'm gonna pull a card. Okay, why didn't I pull a card on that? If he can't handle it, would they just dismiss him? Would they say, oh, he's now in the hospital, so he doesn't have to answer to anything? If he can't handle it, it's a smokescreen. More goosebumps. Ugh, man. Oh, what have we opened up here? This is supposed to be like an interesting chat, and now I'm freaked out. So, a smokescreen if he can't handle it. Okay, Kelly, let's have a look. I hate to say this, but I feel that he might unalive himself. Really? Well, that's interesting. Do you think do you think that that would be the truth, or do you think that would be a statement? Like the official word is that um the official word is that he has done that and he just goes into hiding. Maybe like someone who had an island, that kind of way. So what would happen? Final warning. You might have a point, Kelly. You might have a point, intuitive medium K. You might have a good point there. Final warning. Scales of justice. Like if they can't bring him in on this, they might not be able to bring him in at all. That's interesting. Wow. Final warning. What do you guys make of that? I like the comment about the full moon. I think that's all relative. Yeah, hiding out. Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's a really good point. Okay, guys, two more cards. I know I'm getting distracted here, but I gotta say, this is just the creepiest feeling. It's I know the subject matter is a bit tough, and I wouldn't want to be in a room with this guy. I don't know if you would. I would certainly have a lot to say, but I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him. So let's just do a couple more here. Vault access. Access to secrets in the vault. Access to a vault to go hide in. Vault access. Are there papers that we can't access for a number of years? Like they've closed the file and not till 2030 or something like that. You know how they do that? Have papers been locked away? I don't know. If you know, tell me, but I don't know if that's a thing, or we're going to get like behind the scenes access to information that we didn't have before. Can you imagine? Victim statement. Geez, how many will they allow? Millions? There could be. Interesting. Interesting, this card for me, when I hold it, because it's a woman on the card, raising her fist in defiance and giving a victim statement. I've always wondered if the women in the United States and in Canada hold the power where if they decided to rebel or revolt or stand up for their kids or say no to certain things or protocols that their kids have to go through, if the real power for change would come from women. Not that there's anything, not that the men couldn't do it, but I've always wondered if it would be more impactful coming from women. And there's the victim statement card with the woman on it. Okay, 3 more cards, 3 more, and that's what we're going to do. Suspicious activity kind of speaks for itself. Audio recording. That's kind of to someone's comment where they heard someone reading his diaries on TV today, or heard it somewhere. Maybe we're going to hear the audio recordings of conversations that he had, over the last 6 years, or maybe even longer ago than that. Okay, last card. Last card for today. You're kidding me. Double cross. It's the company you keep. And if you're going to do this kind of stuff, I guess you stand a good chance of being double crossed by the people that you thought you could trust. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. So we started out with emergency call and we end with double cross. I'm going to be watching this really, really closely, and as I'm sure you are too. And let's just see where the cards fall, to put it bluntly. Thanks, guys, for your comments. I just want to have I'll look at a couple more. Imagine there are documents, research. Yeah, probably locked away. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, let me see one more. From his diary, his ego grew bigger. From his fame with all the fame. He would get power from the hearing. And my thoughts is he will say something to incriminate himself. Really? That's fascinating. Really? You think that? So you think a guy of this caliber who's been involved in these things is so egotistical that he'll actually incriminate himself? You know what? Wouldn't be the first time. Wouldn't be the first time. Didn't OJ write a book called If I Did It? I think he did, didn't he? Yeah, I didn't read it, but that's what it reminds me of, kind of along the same lines. But anyway, there you go. That is my card reading on the energy around what we're going to see tomorrow with Fauci. Again, that book, The Real Anthony Fauci. I get nothing for doing this, obviously, but if it's interesting, if you haven't read it, it's a bit tough to stomach, I imagine, for a lot of people. But if you're interested, it's certainly worth the read. So I will take my cup of tea. I will say in what we used to do at the end of every episode of Behind the Scenes with the Rescue Mediums, we would do our cheers. So on Tuesday night with my cup of tea, I will say cheers, and see you in the next one. Have a good night. Bye-bye.